If anxiety has you feeling stuck or unproductive, you're not alone. Here's how I've learned to manage it and still get things done. I've struggled with severe anxiety my entire life without even realizing it. Growing up in Eastern Europe, anxiety and even going to therapy wasn't something that was talked about. Despite that, I've managed to build what seemed like a semi-normal life while still struggling with it. In fact, I even built a six-figure coaching business alongside my anxiety. It's only in the last couple of years that I've been able to articulate my experience with anxiety. I also want to mention that I'm not on any medication for anxiety. I never have been, not because I'm necessarily against it, but simply because I didn't have access to it. This meant that I had to manage my anxiety by changing my habits and learning what really worked for me. If you're dealing with anxiety, whether you've recognized it already or maybe you're just learning about it, you're not alone. It can feel overwhelming managing day-to-day tasks, let alone building a business and staying productive. But the truth is, many of us are dealing with the same struggles, even though we don't necessarily talk about it. Your experience is real, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed by everything. The important thing is that there are ways to manage it, so let's talk about it. For most of my life, I had no idea how to process my emotions. My anxiety used to be so bad that I could not bear being by myself. Therapy played a huge role for me during these tough times, and if you are struggling to manage this on your own, don't hesitate to ask for help. But no matter how things feel for you and how bad it might be, you can change that. There is hope. You don't have to feel bad all of the time. Before we begin, I want to be clear on one thing. The solution to being productive with anxiety is not to override your anxiety. Instead, it's about using it as a signal or a guide telling you that something needs your attention first. By working with it, not against it, you can find ways to stay productive without adding to the overwhelm. Physical well-being is a non-negotiable. We all know that nutrition, exercise, quality sleep, managing stress are important for everyone. But for those struggling with anxiety or depression, it's on a whole other level of importance. It's non-negotiable. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and quality sleep aren't just good habits. They are essential for reducing the physical symptoms of anxiety. When your body feels supported, your mind has a larger capacity and a stronger foundation in order to be able to handle stress. Simple actions like strength training, daily walks, quality sleep, no doom scrolling for hours before bed or first thing in the morning can have a huge impact on your body's ability to be able to manage anxiety. When it comes to exercise specifically, strength training is a non-negotiable. There's tons of data on this, and regular resistance training 2-3 times per week can have a significant impact on your mental health, particularly in managing anxiety. The only reason I've been able to stay consistent with strength training for 6 years is because of the mental health benefits. Next, I'm gonna say something that you might not like, but I want you to learn from my experience and not waste years trying to work around it and still come back to the same exact conclusion that I'm gonna tell you right now. Alcohol had to go. I have tried hard to find ways around it with different supplements, different types of alcohol, different quantities, and I've always come back to the exact same outcome. I would love if I could have a drink or two every once in a while, even once a week. But alcohol heightens my anxiety for 4 to 5 days after. If I'm having a drink or two every week, that means that I'm going to have increased anxiety for 16 to 20 days out of the month. Productivity, out the window. If you've never experienced what it's like to not be affected by post-drinking anxiety, try it out. There's literally nothing that you can lose, only gain. If you want me to make a separate video going more in depth on sleep, supplements, nutrition, or training, let me know in the comments. Number 2 is break tasks into micro steps. When anxiety feels overwhelming, large tasks can paralyze you. Instead of tackling everything at once, break large tasks into smallest steps possible. Completing even one micro task can give you a sense of accomplishment and reduce that feeling of overwhelm. Start with what feels doable and build from there. Let's say you want to clean your entire house. Instead of thinking about it as one large task, start by cleaning one room, one corner. Maybe just start with cleaning one shelf. The goal is to focus on one small, manageable task at a time. Once you complete it, the sense of accomplishment is going to motivate you to keep going and move forward with completing another micro task. Over time, these micro tasks build momentum, and before you know it, you've made significant progress on what once felt like this huge, overwhelming, paralyzing task. It's important to note that from an ego perspective, overwhelm can sometimes act as a form of self-protection that keeps us from growing. Our ego resists change, and any step toward expansion is likely going to feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortability does not always mean bad. Number 3 is to cultivate self-awareness and reframe your mindset. Change how you view overwhelm, anxiety, or any other uncomfortable emotion. When you approach it with neutrality and see it as a signal rather than a threat, you're much more equipped to manage it effectively. Instead of resisting it, you can start asking, what is this trying to tell me? Why am I feeling this way? This shift in perspective allows you to respond rather than react to your emotions. Becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions is the first step in changing them. Much of how we feel and respond emotionally is based on past experience. If something previously caused stress or anxiety, the brain oftentimes sends signals that mimic how you responded to the same situations in the past. We tend to replay the same thoughts over and over again, which reinforces the same emotional patterns and reactions. This is where we get stuck in the same cycles of negative thinking or anxiety without even realizing it. The key to breaking these automatic patterns is cultivating awareness of your thoughts and emotions so you can choose to respond differently. Cultivating awareness basically gives you options. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, and journaling can help you bring these subconscious thoughts and patterns into conscious awareness so you can have the option of changing them. To recap, physical well-being is a non-negotiable when it comes to managing anxiety. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, quality sleep form the foundations for better mental health. Resistance training in particular has long-term benefits in reducing anxiety. Additionally, cutting or lowering alcohol is crucial for reducing your anxiety, as even small amounts can lead to heightened anxiety days afterwards. Completing small and manageable tasks can help you build momentum and reduce stress. Lastly, cultivate awareness of your emotions and thoughts. Most of our reactions are on autopilot. By practicing mindfulness and reframing your responses, you can shift away from automatic negative responses and manage your anxiety more effectively. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video, which is how to listen to your intuition when you have anxiety.